The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para-X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Oh, hell no!
Whatever.
The following program contains opinions expressed by the Dead Zone. If you find this broadcast offensive, lighten up, candy ass.
What?
Oh my gosh.
It's a radio show.
Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about.
Power up request received. Initiating systems. Powering up transmitters. Welcome to the Dead Zone.
Wait a minute. Hear this.
September 19th, Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show. Our good friend Bill Vockroth, the founder of P.A.S.T, Paranormal Association of the Southern Tier, will be our guest. We're going to find out what he's been up to. Also, don't forget, coming real soon, DeadCon in Fort Wayne. That's October 15th, 16th, and 17th. But before that, it's Keith Age's Mid-America Paracon. That's October 1st through the 3rd. We're going to be at both. So come say hello. Come by. I can't talk again. Stop by and say hello. Michelle's coming up with the paranormal news. I swear I cannot talk. But first, Void Vader with Poltergeist.
I Yo, what's going on, guys? This is your man Vincent M. Ward, and you're listening to The Dead Zone.
Paranormal news.
Hello, I found this week's article on phantomsandmonsters.com. This was published Tuesday, May 4th, 2021. It's titled Small Quadruped Humanoids Observed Along Dark Northern Wisconsin Country Road. A northern Wisconsin teen is with her boyfriend when she begins to experience panic attacks along a certain country road. Later, she observes several small, hairless humanoid creatures along the same road. And this is her account. This happened to me yesterday, Monday, May 3rd, and I'm still processing it. To preface, I live in northern Wisconsin in an area that has a large Ojibwe population. One thing I have learned from living here is if a native tells you something is wrong, you listen to them. They've been here longer than us, and they know what's going on. I'm a 16-year-old female and a junior in high school. Last night was my junior prom, and I went with my boyfriend. Because of COVID, the prom was hosted by parents a couple towns over in a small town hall. We had to drive, and my boyfriend picked me up. The highway that leads to this town is desolate and runs straight through a forest. It's about 15 miles long. This would be fine, but then we entered this specific area on the highway. I'm a pretty level-headed person. I don't scare easily. When we entered this area, I felt nothing but pure terror. We were surrounded by nothing but woods, and I felt like I was being hunted. There were these garbage bags on the side of the road. The first garbage bag was on the left side of the road. I pointed it out to my boyfriend, and he said that somebody probably dumped it there so that they wouldn't have to pay for garbage pickup. I believed him until we came upon two more garbage bags a couple of miles down the road. They were on opposite sides of the road, equal lengths apart. I shrugged it off. Then equal distances away, there were two more garbage bags. This continued for the remainder of the stretch of the road until the end, where there was a single garbage bag, now on the right. I told my boyfriend that the road was giving me a weird vibe, and he did his best to calm my anxieties. He thought I was worried because the road had a fast speed limit, 65 to 70, but it wasn't a fear like that. It was a primal fear. Something was there above me on the food chain. Everything was fine until we left the dance. Pulling out of the parking lot, there was a cop. The cop pulled onto the highway leading to this road when they saw us coming. They didn't use a turn signal, which was very illegal. The cops started acting very weird. While in front of us, they were swerving and kept hugging the line. Then right before we reached the road, the cop, with no warning, I may add, just stopped, did a U-turn, not even 50 feet from our car, and hauled ass off the road. No sirens, no lights, not even an effing turn signal. My boyfriend and I were weirded out. It didn't help that this road was pitch black and the only light was his car's shitty high beams. We then entered the road, and again I was terrified. After passing the first garbage bag, the sense of primal fear returned. I wanted out. I started shaking and crying, and my boyfriend did his very best to comfort me. He suggested pulling over until I calmed down, but I refused. In that moment, I was sure that if we pulled over, we would die. I just kept repeating the phrase, "Something's not right here." He stepped on the gas. Being 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, we were the only ones on this road. Off in the distance behind us, we saw a glowing pair of LED brights. They were pulling up on us fast. Might I keep you in mind, the speed limit here was 65-70. This car was going at least 85-90. And this driver was none other than the cop from before. This cop, again, no sirens or lights, sped right past us and off into the distance. Something in my gut told me that whoever was in that car was feeling the same way I was. Nothing changed for a bit. My boyfriend talked me down and I was calm, but then suddenly I felt the terror again. It was stronger than ever. I started having a panic attack and screaming. I was crying and begging my boyfriend to leave because something was wrong. Then I looked out my window and saw them. There were 5 to 10 little creatures coming out of the woods. One looked me right in the eyes, and I knew this thing was a predator. They were a bit larger than a raccoon and walked on all fours, completely hairless. They looked humanoid and wrinkled. Imagine the top half of a Fuji mermaid, but larger and not dried out. Another way to describe them is a smaller version of the rake. They had eyes that reflected light or that glowed in the dark. They were skinny and frail looking. I screamed and I begged my boyfriend to keep driving. He obliged, and he did. Eventually, we left that road and got back to a more populated area of the highway. He pulled over and began to comfort me. I was having a panic attack. I tried to tell him what I saw, but I just couldn't. I told him I saw a malformed raccoon. He just laughed it off. We returned to my house, and I was terrified. I had explained to my mother that something was wrong with that road. She shrugged it off, but allowed my boyfriend to stay the night, which made me feel better that he didn't have to leave and got to stay at my house away from the woods and those things. My dad, whom we told about the cop, said that the cop was just trying to rouse us, that the cop was hoping we'd make a mistake and they could ticket us. I'm not sure if that's true. I called my best friend today. She is Ojibwe, who practices the beliefs and culture. When we were talking, I couldn't help but spill. I told her about the creatures in the woods and the cop and the trash bags. She sounded worried. She said the trash bags were most likely from people who volunteer to clean the highways, which I can agree with. They were clear bags. I could see trash in them. She was worried about the creatures. She started asking me questions. She asked if I was on my period. She asked about the spiritual healing practice my mother takes me to. She asked if I tried to contact a spirit or if I had tried to play with something dead. I told her about the natural healing my mother has me doing NAET for my allergies, and that I hadn't tried to play with the dead. I told her that that day was the day after my period had just finished. She told me in a concerned voice that the NAET may have opened my third eye and that those creatures may have been attracted to me because of my period. She told me that she was going to give me sage and that I needed to use it. She asked me to redraw what I saw, and I did. I sent the picture to her, and she said that it was weird, but that I should be safe. I am still shaken up. Those things wanted me and were out for blood. I don't think I'll ever go back there again.
There's a darkness in the hallway. Voices that seem to come from nowhere. Alone at night, there is a feeling that something or someone is near. Where can you go? Who can you turn to? Para-X Radio and the all-new Para-X Vision can help. Our knowledgeable host and expert guest can help you find some answers and take a glimpse into the unknown. Para-X Radio and Para-X Vision, programming for the open mind.
Hey guys, so I've been gone for a while. Haven't done any recordings for quite a while now, but I'm back. And I'm on my favorite website, Coast to Coast AM, where I found an article titled, What Happened When I Wore a Cursed Crystal for a Week. Now, this was dated September 1st, and this was taken off of the website Vice. And it talks about how there are horror stories that are being shared on TikTok, saying that Moldavite is a cursed crystal, and that horrible things will happen if you wear it. So this person decided to put it to the test and wear Moldavite for a week and a ring. When Moldavite sales skyrocketed over the past year, Michelle Ferris knew right away that it was because of TikTok. For a long time before TikTok, it was not popular except among specific collectors, the Seattle crystal shop owner told me. At the peak of the Moldavite craze, Ferris went from selling one Moldavite every few weeks to selling about 5 pieces a day. In the world of crystal healing, Moldavite is a tektite known for heralding powerful transformations that will invite things into people's lives and put people on their highest path. When Ferris first started wearing Moldavite, she experienced a huge surge of energy, she said. Apparently, this feeling is so common that there's a name for it. It's called Moldavite flush. The purported power of Moldavite may be how it gained initial traction on TikTok. Then came the trove of videos that have given the gemstone an especially bad rap for stirring shit in people's lives. In these videos, TikTokers tearfully document terrible news supposedly caused by Moldavite, from car crashes to severed relationships and even death of family members. Stephanie Porth, a student in New York, posted one such TikTok video. In the 6 months since she started wearing a Moldavite ring, her dog died and she lost some important people in her life. Porth's video, which has racked up 3.5 million views since June, naturally rattled some dog owners in the comments section, but she doesn't actually believe that Moldavite is cursed. Porth noted that a lot of people saw her video as a negative thing, but they don't understand the situation that's surrounding it, she said. In fact, Porth thinks Moldavite has served its purpose of introducing more positive things into her life. Her family adopted a rescue dog, and she made a new friend. Keegan, a 19-year-old in Nashville who prefers to just go by her first name to keep her professional life separate from her TikTok persona, shares similar sentiments. Moldavite getting a bad reputation is also kind of my fault, and I do feel bad about it, she said. In April, the TikToker made a series of viral videos about the bad things that happened to her after wearing her Moldavite earrings. No more boyfriend, she declared in tears in one TikTok video shot in her car wearing her Moldavite earring. That video has since been viewed 6.8 million times. No more parent, she announced in another video with her standing in front of a hearse. That one got a whopping 10 million views. Keegan told me that she was having a breakdown in her car after ending things with her boyfriend when she suddenly recalled the Moldavite is cursed meme, so she whipped out her phone and made a TikTok video about it. Similarly, the video about her stepfather's passing was a humorous way to cope with her loss. After her videos blew up, she found herself having to explain to panic-stricken viewers that Moldavite isn't actually jinxed. Her stepfather's health had been deteriorating because of brain cancer, and her relationship had been facing circumstantial challenges. I think about it a lot. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I admitted to the internet that I blamed all this on a rock, she confessed. I'm sorry if I just read that sounding kind of stupid. I apologize. The way that I joked about things gave it a negative reputation where people are like, it's going to kill everyone. I'm like, no, it won't do that. Now she sees Moldavite as a big inside joke among TikTokers for when something bad happens. Molly Donlan, a Reiki master and yoga teacher who incorporates crystal healing in her practice, wears Moldavite on a necklace almost every day. I see crystals as crossing guards helping you walk across the street to the next part of your life, she said, adding that crystals are not there to drop bombs in your life. I always like to describe the purpose of Moldavite is to help get you from where you are to your life's purpose, said Donlan. So it really supports you in making changes that are in alignment with your soul's calling. Donlan also thinks that a lot of the claims on TikTok are wildly exaggerated. Ferris, the crystal shop owner, agrees. Crystals, whether it's Moldavite or not, are never going to work against you, intentionally harm others, or cause devastating situations, she said. While crystal enthusiasts have defended Moldavite's cursed reputation, I was still itching to test it. Will it F up my life or stoke good fortune? I wanted to know. So I bought a Moldavite ring, fashioned it into a necklace pendant, and wore it for a week. Here's what happened. Day 1. My first day of wearing the Moldavite necklace was massively uneventful. Day 2. I went for a run with my Moldavite ring, and on my way back, I think I kicked a frog. In case the significance of this encounter isn't clear, I'm terrified of frogs. I didn't dare to look at the ground to confirm my fear and sprinted away in a moment of panic. I also tried and failed to pet a stray neighborhood cat. Pretty devastating for someone who likes to think of herself as an animal whisperer. Day 3. Again, nothing eventful happened to me on this day. My editor did call in sick, and while the cursed crystal didn't bring me mishaps, I did wonder if it was working its curse on the people around me. Day 4. Dinner with friends sent me into a spiral over COVID-19 paranoia because I had been suffering from a stubborn sore throat, and my friend was sharing stories of COVID-19 cluster at her workplace. That night, I decided to get tested at the doctor's clinic. Day 5. This weekend was supposed to be filled with morning walks, Zoom interviews, miscellaneous errands, and meetings with friends. It was gearing up to be lots of fun, but also scarily hectic. After taking a COVID-19 test that required me to be quarantined for about a week, almost all of my plans were wiped clean. For the first time since I can remember, my weekend was completely free from plans. I was homebound, of course, but free. My weekends, I realized, have been bursting at the seams with activities and errands, leaving me barely any time to just sit and simmer. This quarantine weekend was shaping up to be the rest and relaxation that I sorely needed. Day 6. By Sunday, I was well rested, but a little restless, which was just the right spur of motivation I needed to start making plans for a personal newsletter and podcast, and getting back into watercoloring. Basically all the projects that I keep brewing at the back of my mind, but never had the time or headspace to really consider. On this day, I also found out that I did not have COVID-19, which meant I had essentially canceled all my plans for nothing. I can't say I regret it, though. My idyllic weekend was amazing. I also couldn't help but imagine that this was perhaps the Moldavite's way of clearing my schedule. Day 7. Another uneventful day, the last before I took off my Moldavite ring. To be honest, I was kind of disappointed that nothing that extreme happened, or perhaps I need to give it more time. I think the difficulty with a week is that there are changes. You might be too close to notice it, Donlin said when I told her about my experiment. Sometimes its effects are immediate, and sometimes you don't really notice much at all. But when you look back on your life, a year later or 6 months later, you realize, wow, a lot of things did change for the better. Stina Garbus, a professional psychic and longtime crystal healing enthusiast, told me that she believes crystals work more on your mood and experience rather than hitting you brick to face with unexpected changes. Moldavite especially can help those who have goals but have trouble achieving them. First, get a clear idea of your goal and the potential barriers. Then you can allow Moldavite to work its charm and get rid of those barriers, she said. So it's basically practicing more mindfulness, which is almost always a good idea. It's all about mindset and what you get out of your sessions when you're using your crystal, she said. I'd like to think that Moldavite helped me catch a breather over the weekend and forced me to get started on personal projects I've been procrastinating on. Even though my week-long experiment has come to an end, I'm inclined to keep my Moldavite on for a little while longer just to see what else it has in store for me. What's the worst that could happen? Coast to Coast AM article, former director of national intelligence hints at revelatory UFO report, dated March 22nd, 2021, written by Tim Banal. In a recent interview with Fox News, former director of national intelligence John Ratcliffe shared insights on the UFO phenomenon and suggested that a forthcoming government report on the subject could contain significant revelations. His intriguing comments were made during a conversation with Maria Bartiromo this past Friday evening. Positing that the former Trump administration official saw the most intelligence that anyone has ever seen other than the president, the host noted that the government is required to issue a report on UFOs to the public later this year and asked Ratcliffe if such strange objects have been seen. Although he chuckled when Bartiromo initially broached the topic, the former DNI offered a serious response, saying that the government has lots of reports about what we call unidentified aerial phenomena. He went on to confirm that the government will be issuing a proverbial UFO report in a few months, and claimed that he wanted to get this information out and declassified before I left office, but was unable to pull off such a feat. Frankly, there are a lot more sightings than have been made public, Ratcliffe said, explaining that these reports come from Navy or Air Force pilots or have been picked up by satellite imagery. These puzzling objects, he revealed, engage in actions that are difficult to explain, move in a manner seemingly impossible by current technology, and exceed the sound barrier without a sonic boom. Ratcliffe revealed that there are quite a few of those incidents on record and postulated that information on these cases is being gathered and will be put out in a way that the American people will see. As for what could be behind these inexplicable sightings, he indicated that when we see these things, we always look for a plausible explanation, citing weather effects or potential foreign technology, but conceded that there are instances where we don't have good explanations for what we have seen. Pressed by Bartiromo for more information on where these objects have been seen, Ratcliffe marveled that there have been sightings all over the world. Dismissing the notion that such reports come from a solitary witness, he clarified that usually we have multiple sensors that are picking up these things. Ultimately, the former DNI mused that I think it'll be healthy for as much of this information to get out there as possible so that the American people can see some of the things that we've been dealing with. Fortunately, we won't have to wait all that much longer to see what, if anything, gets revealed to the public, as the government report on UFOs is set to be released on June 1st. So if you have any proof of UFOs, any proof of UFOs, whether you have pictures, videos, you have a story that you'd like to share, email me at michelle.deadzone@gmail.com. That's michelle.deadzone@gmail.com.
Hey, this is Lee from the Dead Zone. I want to give a huge shout out to Shauna and congratulations on her new podcast, Exploring the Paranormal Perspective. You'll hear some amazing guests like me,
Whatever.
paranormal and true crime stories, and more. Catch her Wednesdays at 8 Central on the Para-X Radio Network.
This is Sandy Johnson, and you're listening to The Dead Zone.
ervaring.
Are you in a band or know of a band that is currently unsigned and looking for airplay for free? We want to hear from you. One of the main goals of the show is to help promote up-and-coming bands and artists as well as our paranormal community. Getting your name out there can be tough, especially these days. Shoot us an email, deadzonebooking@gmail.com. If your music fits our genre, hard rock, 80s, 90s metal, and new metal, we want to help.
If all radio stations in town were palm trees, we'd be the one with the biggest coconuts.
Here are the one, the only
Dead Zone.
All right, we're going to call Bill right now. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, now I hear you.
Hello.
How's it going, man?
There you go.
All right, yeah.
Pretty good. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Is there a delay? I think there is. There might be a little bit of a delay.
I don't know. I hear an echo on here too, and I'm not sure what's going on.
Okay. Well. That's it's our setup here. Anyway, it's been a while. First of all, how are you doing? And how are the team?
I'm doing good. The team's doing really good. Yeah, we're growing, and it's beyond anything I would ever thought we could do. That's just crazy.
Right.
Love it.
Right now, for you guys that just joined us, we're talking to Bill Vockroth of P.A.S.T, Paranormal Association of the Southern Tier. So what have you guys been up to?
Exactly. So we're still doing, I don't know if we were doing these I think we were last time I was talking to you. We're still doing the public ghost hunts at the local museum here in town.
Right.
To help raise money for the museum, because with the pandemic and everything, and the people cutting back on tourism and travel and stuff, they were hurting. So we happened to find a place that we could ghost hunt, and it helps them and help them. We have fun doing it, and so we've been doing that pretty regularly.
Right, keeps you busy. Right. I think we all need to keep busy.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah. So we started doing them just once a month, and then throughout the summer we were doing it once a week.
Okay.
And then we just had one this past Friday, and now we're going to start going back to once a month as we go. But I think we got 2 in October because it's October.
Okay, now that's
they're great. We have a lot of fun.
That's what you guys call awakening the spirit ghost hunts.
Awaken the spirits. Yes, awaken the spirits, and that's at the Heritage Village in Museum in Corning, New York. It's Finger Lakes region of upstate New York.
Right. Well, that's got to be really interesting. What's some of the evidence that you guys have caught?
So, every time that we go, when we first started going, we just had, disembodied voices and a couple, the spirit box voices and things like that. But every time we go, it gets more and more. So the one that we just had this past Friday, we were getting shadow figures. We get we hear footsteps when we sit in one of there's 3 museums. There's one the whole area is one museum, but there's 3 locations. There's an inn, a schoolhouse, and a log cabin. So each location has something different.
Right.
We were getting footsteps. We were using the SLS camera, so we're seeing the stick figures on there. Flashlight communication. That runs the gamut of everything.
Right.
It's absolutely amazing. People really have a lot of fun. We get most of the people that go and do this are not people that you'd see are regular ghost hunters. They're just people that are just curious and want to see what it's about. And, it's been a lot of fun.
Right. Oh, that's absolutely fascinating. Can you tell us the history behind these 3 locations? What's the story behind them, or is there one?
So the original house there is it's called the Ben Patterson House.
Okay.
And that's been here. That's the original to the county. It's one of the oldest houses in the county. It actually was a tavern and a stopping point for people who would travel through the area to go to other places.
Okay.
It was like what we call a bed and breakfast.
Right.
And then they have built onto it. So they moved a schoolhouse and they moved a log cabin and a blacksmith shop, built a village. The other places weren't there originally; they were relocated.
Right.
But it's more of a teaching. They use it more as a teaching location for students.
Okay.
To show them how people lived in the 17 and 1800s.
Right.
And we never thought it would be haunted. We just thought we would go and see what we could find, and it has been. It's picked up amazing. One of the spirits that we found that inhabits the log cabin was a guy named Henry. I believe his last name was Mac Henry, and I think his wife's name was Eliza.
Right.
And he was in the Civil War, and he was wounded in the Civil War, but he survived, and he did to live there. So we do know that, not just from ghost hunting, but that's what we have.
That's actual, that's actual documenting. Yeah,
communicates pretty regularly. It's really cool. As long as we go in and we talk respectful, and talk about the Civil War, and I don't believe in provoking any of my team. I tell my team, don't provoke anything. Just
right.
Talk respectful. And he was a Civil War soldier. Thank you for your service. And then so we start talking about that, and that's usually draws the best results from him. And we'll get the flashlights. We have seen there's a rocking chair in the cabin, and one of our guests had asked if it's possible to move the rocking chair.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't think that would happen, but it did move.
But it actually moved.
I was just as shocked as the guest was.
Wow,
in my mind, I'm thinking, it's not really going to move, but it did.
Oh, it's too bad you didn't have it.
Pretty surprised by all of it.
Too bad that wasn't caught on camera, right? Yeah, but you're absolutely right, though.
I don't have I don't have it. I think probably somebody that was in the group did, because they, we encourage people to take pictures and shoot videos. So somebody in the group probably did, and I tell them, if you have evidence, send it to me so we can post it on our page. Most of them don't, and I don't know. I don't ask the last names or anything like that. We just sell the tickets.
Right.
So I hope they did. If they're listening, I'd hope that they would send it to us.
Yes, please do, because we all want to see that. Yeah, please do. Yeah. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah, exactly.
What we always say, ghost, whatever you want to call them, apparitions, spirits. They were.
Yeah, I call them spirits when I'm there.
Yeah, they're basically the same person they were in life. So be respectful.
Exactly. Absolutely. Yeah, because that's I don't want to be treated respectfully. I mean, that's what we do. And unless you get into the demons and things like that, I don't mess with that stuff. I stay away from that. Those aren't. That's not fun for me.
Right, the tricksters.
But that's not what we have where we do this here.
Right, that would make sense.
The demons and everything will trick you.
Right, that would make sense in the museums, because even if they were built, you have items that were brought in that are from that period that could have an attachment to it. So you never know. And
exactly.
And there's also a school, you said, or is that one of the?
Yeah, there's a school there too. Yes.
Okay.
It's a one-room schoolhouse. So what I like to do before we start the investigations is I'll go in there occasionally and start playing the sounds from a one-room schoolhouse. You can actually find all these things on YouTube.
Okay.
And I'll go in and I'll put my phone in there and I'll start playing it. And it's so it stirs them up a little bit. Like school's in session.
Right. A little trigger.
And then
trigger.
By the time we rotate around and get in there, it's in session. And that seems to work. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. They seem to like it. There's kids in there now. We don't understand. When kids die, I don't ask. I don't ask the unpleasant questions to spirits. I don't ask, how did you die?
Right.
I don't like to do that.
Right.
But this was in the 17 and 1800s that they would have been in there. And, the childhood death back then wasn't, all that uncommon.
Oh, no.
And so things like that did happen. We just have to accept.
Especially when they were working in factories and mills and such like that, yeah. That's the one.
Exactly. And then they had disease.
Yeah. That's always been the one thing when we go on investigations and do our thing. prefer not to, well, a child's ghost just creeps me the hell out. It really does. I don't know why, but that is the most creepy to me. But so, very cool.
Yeah. Well, it can be. So, it can be very unsettling.
Yeah.
Because, talking in the past that, people will tell you that demons can hide as children, and that's true. I do believe that.
Right.
But we don't feel that here. We don't feel that sense. And so we do know that the resident ghost that we get the most interaction from at that location is a young girl named Emily, and she's 6 years old.
All right.
So we do have that. So we often hear her voice come through as a child laughing or talking. And we have found out that she is 6 years old. I don't know how, in her family, there was a large family, and her parents are there, and they're just living at the museum. Now they didn't live in this house. They must have just decided that they liked it and took up residency there, because it's not something that was theirs to begin with. They just moved in.
Just all of a sudden they're there. Maybe it's the ground that's built on.
Yeah. They're just wandering down the street and said, "This looks like a nice place," and checked in. But we did find that Emily does like the young women that come in, and she looks at them as more like a mother figure.
Yeah.
And so she will pull on their hair and hold their hand, give them hugs. It's really kind of weird to talk like that, because the people that come in are kind of shocked, but it was a little girl, and I think of it that way. Don't be afraid that it's a spirit. Just think of it, it's a little girl.
Yeah. What I
get over very quickly.
What I was saying is maybe on the grounds that this place was built on, maybe there was a homestead there or something there. That's why they're there. I don't know.
It could be because the actual house was there.
Yeah.
But it's big enough that there could very well be other houses that were on that property.
Right.
So you're absolutely right.
You're right.
Yeah. And unfortunately there was a flood here back in 1972.
Yeah.
That wiped out a lot of the records. So we don't have access to finding a lot of that stuff. I don't even know where to begin to look for some of that stuff.
Right. That's just
I don't know. I've asked the museum; they don't have any records of stuff like that, which I think is really sad, because I would like to find out who these people are, and what their last names are, and a little bit more about them, other than what we've learned through our investigations.
Yeah, I mean, and what you could find is now gone, and going through county records and that kind of thing, just gone due to the flood.
Yeah.
That's
a lot of that stuff was lost, and I don't know how to do that. I don't know where to go find that, and I need someone on the team that would step up and say, I'll do that.
Ordinarily,
everyone's busy.
The easiest thing to do is go to the public library and go through their records, go through the electronic files. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I could give that a shot. I'd like to find out somewhere. They probably look at me like you're nuts. What are you looking up? But
you never know.
Yeah, that would be a shot. But we could try that, because exactly. We don't know. I mean, we've got first names. They had 12 kids, and they had 7 acres of land, or 7.5 acres of land. We do have that much.
Right.
That would be a start.
That would be.
They were there in 1830s to 1850s is when they said they were near that property. So it would be a starting point to kind of look. It might take some doing, but we can probably figure it out.
Right, see if you can find some kind of deed or some kind of information like that. Yeah, that's where I would start if I was you. I would try.
Yeah, anyway. It'd be nice. It would be nice.
All right, so...
Yeah, absolutely. It would probably put closure to it also.
All right. So what do you got coming up, like, as far as going to conventions? I know we're going to be in Kentucky the 1st of October, and I think the middle of October we're going to be in Fort Wayne for the DeadCon. Are you guys going to be doing anything like that?
So we were originally going to go just to check out the Para-Unity Fest in New Jersey.
Right.
I believe that's the 25th, but I've had something come up, so we can't make that one.
Right.
I think Rochester New York has one coming up, and then I just saw somebody announced about a Sleepy Hollow one coming up in New York next year.
Yeah. I posted that.
So I'd like to do that. Yeah. Oh, okay, yep. And then I'd like to go to. I wanted to go to the Gettysburg Bash, but we had ghost hunts and things going on, so we have to kind of plan way ahead.
Oh yeah, and absolutely.
You know, I think I've discussed with you before that I've got cancer, so it all depends on how I feel, whether I can, feel like get around to traveling and what my doctor's appointments and things are.
Like I said, I
have all these places in my mind I would love to go to, and they just doesn't always work out.
Right. I feel for you. Like I probably told you, I had cancer too. I had mouth cancer, and it's been like 6 years. It's been like 6 years or 7 years out now, and I still haven't completely recovered from the radiation and everything like this. Like, wow. I mean, it hits you, it drags you down.
Yeah, it just drains your energy.
Yeah,
it does. It really does. So have you seen? How's the attendance been at these Paracons? Has it dropped off? Have you heard anything about that?
Well, the one in Fort Wayne we're going to was called off last year because of COVID. Now they're trying it again. The owner, the guy and operator, Eric Werner, just went to Horror Hound. Just now, he's on his way back right now. He said, and he posted some photos.
Okay.
They did really well, and they're hoping for the same crowd at Fort Wayne. So yeah, I mean, it's it's been you really can't do anything. It's starting to open up now, but I'm getting kind of worried because this second strain that's coming through is causing trouble. So who knows?
Yeah, we've noticed that with our attendance at the Awaken the Spirits, because all through the pandemic last year we were averaging between 20 and 30 people.
Yeah.
And since the summer started, the second strain, it's dropped off quite a bit. I don't know if people are just more cautious now because of what we just went through.
Yeah.
Or if there's something else going on. I wasn't sure. I was wondering if you'd heard anything about what Gettysburg was like, because some of the photographs that I'd seen, it didn't look like there was a whole lot of people there. So I don't know. I'm kind of skeptical about, curious as to what's really going on.
Right. You don't want to spend a lot of money to go somewhere for a crowd of 30 people, and it's not worth it. Right.
Yeah.
But we had been.
Yeah, because I love meeting the people, the celebrities, and all that. But for me, it's the crowd too. It's the whole atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's just an event, and if you go there and it's not really well attended, that takes away from it, I think.
Right. We've been invited.
It's like going to a concert. I don't want to go to a concert there
with 10 people. Yeah. Right. We've been invited.
Yeah. I know, right?
We were invited to Gettysburg on several occasions, but a couple of them we had to turn down just because I'm feeling so run down. There's no way I could get out there on that field and do anything. You know what I mean? Just so beat down all the time.
Yeah,
But I'd love to go there. We've never been there before.
Gettysburg's nice. I've been there a few times. It's not really all that far. It's about 3-hour drive from here.
Yeah.
But we had such the heat around here in the summertime. It was either 90 degrees and 80% humidity, or it was raining out, and the weather was kind of one or the other.
Right.
And
you ain't doing nothing. No.
I'd rather go when it's nice and cool.
Right. You're not going to do anything out in that heat like that, especially with what we have going on. No way. No. Yeah.
No, absolutely. But there's so many places I'd want to go. Friends of mine own a place up towards in the Buffalo area called Greystone Manor.
Yeah.
And it's been on Kindred Spirits, and it's been on Travel Channel. It's an amazing place to go.
Right.
So if you ever get a chance, you want to check that out. It's a lot of fun. That place in Hinsdale House is out.
Yeah.
Western New York too. That place I've been to. It's that's one of the ones that has a little bit more of a negative feel to it.
Yeah.
Which is great if that's people like that. It's active, but I tend to stay away from things like that. I did go there, but I tend to not want to go to places like that.
Okay, when you were in Gettysburg, either times that you were there, you always see on TV the apparitions of soldiers. You hear the gunfire, the cannon fire. Did you experience any of that at all?
Right. So I did. So I went to Gettysburg. It was probably about 20 years ago now.
Yeah.
And back then, I didn't have the equipment that I do now. I don't even think a lot of this equipment was really available. Now you can order a lot of the stuff on Amazon or order it online.
Right.
But when I went down there, we heard the cannon fire. We heard the gunshots late at night, which was really strange because it was in the summertime. It was a little bit on the warm side. So we stayed at a motel that was not far from the battlefield. I just sat outside, went outside to get some fresh air.
Mm-hmm.
And sit outside. It was probably 2:00 in the morning, and all of a sudden I started hearing cannon shots, or cannon fire, and that was really strange, very strange. And we walked through some of the cemeteries down there, and you could smell just like you walked through someone smoking pipe tobacco.
Oh yeah, really.
And the experience was amazing. Yeah, and we went into the Jenny Wade house and. We had some experiences in there. With of course that was a guided tour.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of fun. The Gettysburg is a whole different world. It's
whole different vibe. Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah. But no apparitions.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Didn't see any. Didn't see anything. I've only seen a few apparitions. I've seen some. I did see one of a woman at the museum that we go to.
Okay.
That was the one that we call her Mother. That's because that's the only name that she's given us, and she is the mother of the family. And typically, she is in this kitchen area, which is the open hearth, old-fashioned kitchens that they have.
Right.
And she's in there quite a bit. So if I sit in a couple rooms over to be like the main dining room. It's a huge dining room like you'd have in a restaurant.
Okay.
I sit in there alone while the rest of the group is in either the schoolhouse or the log cabin or whatever. And you'll hear footsteps in there, and you'll think that someone is in there cooking. Right. And I've had several people sit with me, and go in there and see if there's somebody in there. Maybe someone walked in the door. They go in, they look, they come back, and they're like, "There's nobody there."
Yeah.
I said it happens all the time.
Right.
So it's just like, and it's like they're going about their business. There is the spinning wheels and the looms and all that stuff where they're making their fabric, and we let our guests use our equipment, and they like to use the SLS camera, the camera that shows the stick figures. And
right.
Quite often they will go up there and hold it and aim it towards the spinning wheels and the looms, and you'll see them like they're working. So it's almost like they're on the other side of a veil, like they're going about their business and we're over here. So
right.
So it's almost like we're the ghosts, It's like they're going about their business and we're looking for them. It's pretty cool. So I'd like to, maybe that's what's going on in Gettysburg. It's not so much. I don't think it's so much residual at the museum down here because they do interact with us.
Yeah.
But they're just going about their business.
Right, like you say.
And I did have one on the.
Like you say, the other side of the veil. Yeah, I get you. I understand.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so I did have one. We were in the bedroom area investigating, and it said, "I'm tired." So I'm thinking, tired.
Okay.
You guys get tired too? I just thought that was really kind of odd, But.
Right.
Yeah, so that's Gettysburg and places like that where they're just going about their business and things. Maybe we're intruding on what they're doing.
Could be.
I just wonder I wonder what the ghosts think about when they, if they still look and see if they can see us, what they think about cars driving through and us with the cameras and all this stuff. They,
right.
If they could
be fascinating to them, right? Be fascinating to them. I'm
sure.
It's
got to be really strange,
right? Well, Bill,
yeah.
I'm gonna let you go. We're gonna run short here. PastParanormal.net. Now you can get tickets to the events from that website, or is that not right? Tickets to your ghost hunt.
Yes, so you can get them from there, or you can just go to the Heritage Village of the Southern Finger Lakes in Corning and buy the tickets right out there.
There you go. And I'm sure they're not expensive, right?
No, ours are only $30, and
that's
it's for usually 2 hours.
$30
we don't like to take people out at all night. It's just something you can do. Go to dinner, go to this, and then you got the rest of the night. Usually we do them from either 7 to 9 or 8:30 to 10:30, depending on the time of the year.
Right.
And people seem to enjoy it.
Right. It sounds awesome. I mean, we've got the ghost walks in Indianapolis here. That's kind of like that, And it's kind of cool. It's interesting.
Yeah.
But PastParanormal.net.
Yeah.
$30 for the tickets, man. That's cheap. You guys go check it out. And thank you very much, Bill.
It really is. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much for coming on. We hope you will come back.
Thank you.
And next time, bring some team members with you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've talked to them. They're a little shy, but I think I can talk them into it.
Well, there's no reason to
definitely try it.
There's no reason to be shy on this show anyway. We're so laid back and ridiculous.
I know.
But anyway, yeah.
I appreciate it though. Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it. Tell your folks hi.
I will. I will do that.
All right. Bye. Hey, this is Lee. If you missed tonight's show or any other show, you can always check them out in the archives on the Para-X Radio Network, or you can go to our website and click on any of your favorite apps.
This is the Dead Zone Paranormal Radio Show.
Thanks for listening.